Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel, and today we're going to look at some brand new cards that were revealed over the past couple days that are going to be featured in the Crimson Haze set in Japan or our Twilight Masquerade set in May. Now, of course, we weren't, getting a lot of reveals at once like we did before with the unfair stamp reveal and everything, but we do still have some scattered reveals of some decently interesting cards that I did want to look at here on the second channel. I've done these videos before where we've looked at little reveals in bits and pieces. Before, and I'm excited to take a look at some of these new cards. We have some new Ancient and Future cards, a new Infernape, and a brand new Ball Search card. So I'm pretty excited to look at all these cards and kind of give my opinions, my thoughts on them, just seeing if they're any good or not. I'll leave a link down below to Poke Beach if you want to go check out the reveals for yourself, kind of give your own thoughts on them, and let me know in the comments below what you think of these new cards. And if you're new here to the second channel, make sure to subscribe down below. We're on the road to 12,000 subscribers. So let's start things off. So the first cards that got revealed were a brand new Iron Leaves and Walking Wake single prize. Now, we actually do have single prize versions of most of the Ancient and Future Pokemon. We have single prize versions of Iron Hands, Iron Valiant. We are missing stuff like Raging Bolt, Iron Crown, single prize, Gouging Fire, but I'm sure we're going to get them revealed very soon. But yeah, we do have a brand new Iron Leaves here. Now, keep in mind, Iron Leaves is a grass Pokemon. I mean, Iron Leaves EX is seeing some play in Japan right now because it is a grass-type Pokemon, and Iron Leaves, one prize option here definitely is decent. So it's got 2 attacks. You got Recovery Net, put up the 2 Pokemon from your discard back in your hand. It's okay. The main attack, Vengeful Edge, is where things get interesting. So for a grass and 2 colorless energy, does 100 damage if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn. This attack does 60 more damage. So in turn, you can do 160 damage with this Iron Leaves. Now, that's not bad. I mean, against Charizard, you are doing 320 damage, which doesn't knock them out in one hit. So I think this card definitely had potential if it did at least 180 damage or 170. Unfortunately, 160 damage just isn't, it's not as good as it used to be. Now, yes, you are a future Pokemon. You can play this with cards like Iron Crown, Future Booster Capsule. I would feel like this card would be better suited in probably like a Lost Box deck because Lost Zone Glasses does lose Tropius. Now, could this replace Tropius in the Glasses Lost Box deck? Yeah, I could see it. I could see Iron Leaves being the new age of Tropius. One of the things that makes Tropius so good in the Glasses deck, and I would know, I played that deck to a League Challenge and won with it, is that it only needs 2 energy to attack and one-shot a Charizard, where Iron Leaves needs 3. So you have to attach plus Mirage Gate 2 energy, where Tropius is a little bit easier. There isn't really any good replacement for Tropius other than Shaman V, but that's a 2-prizer. So, I don't know. We'll have to see if this card ends up being good in the Lost Zone engine to counter Charizard. Again, it doesn't do enough damage to 1-hit KO it. It might be better off in just a Future Box deck as an attacker, to be honest, and that might be the way to play it. Having a 1-prize attacker that can KO a Charizard EX is pretty valuable, so this might just be better in Future Box over Lost Box. We got a brand new Walking Wake. Now, this is an ancient Pokemon, so it does synergize with all the ancient cards. And its main attack here, Cleaving Wave for 2 waters and a colorless, does 20 damage. You put up to 9 damage counters on this Pokemon. Does 20 damage for each damage counter put in this way. So you can do 180 damage if you put all of the 9 damage counters on. Now, it does have 130 HP, so you won't knock out your Walking Wake, but you are going to put a lot of damage on regardless. And, I mean, Walking Wake's probably going to get KO'd anyways, but, you're going to have, 40 HP. Now, keep in mind, you are an ancient Pokemon. You can play this with Ancient Booster Capsule to give yourself 90 more HP, so you can give your Walking Wake a lot more health. So, you can give the Walking Wake a lot of HP as a 1-prize attacker. It's not bad. It does do a good bit of damage. I mean, 180 is certainly better than what Iron Leaves could have done to knock out Charizard EX in 1 hit. But, you'll take what you can get. Honestly, Iron Leaves is not the worst card on, the Iron Leaves not bad. Walking Wake isn't the worst card on the planet. Not sure I was getting with that. Walking Wake, it's okay. I've seen some talk about playing it within Baxcalibur decks. I'm not too sure about that. It is a basic. You can play it with Sada, as an energy acceleration over Baxcalibur. You could also play it in a Lost Zone engine, though I don't think you really would. You're not really hitting anything relevant for weakness. Overall, Walking Wake, Iron Leaves, they're both okay. I think Iron Leaves is maybe better than Walking Wake. Walking Wake isn't bad, though, by any means, but Iron Leaves definitely has more potential just because it's a grass Pokemon. It just doesn't one-shot Charizard, so it doesn't, I don't know. It kind of sucks that this thing doesn't one-shot Charizard, but overall, these 2 cards are perfectly fine. Next up, we do have a new Infernape. Now, we haven't really had that many playable Infernapes, in all honesty. A lot of the Infernape cards we've had have been kind of just meme cards where they do a bunch of damage for certain energy discard effects. Like, they haven't really ever been that good. I think the last good Infernape card we've had, honestly, was probably Infernape Level X from way back in the Diamond and Pearl era. But this Infernape actually has somewhat of a decent ability. So we'll start things off with Pinsir, another grass Pokemon. It does have the attack Slow Crunch, which for a grass and a colorless energy discards all energy from this Pokemon. At the end of your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon is knocked out. I mean, it's probably not that good. You have to discard the energy, and your opponent can also just literally retreat or switch out of it. You could play this with Spidops, I guess. This maybe could have been good with, like, Charm Spidops, but Charm does rotate. And its other attack does only 100 damage, so Charizard is not getting one-hit KO'd by this. But then we have a brand new Infernape line here. Now, again, this could be our first playable Infernape that we have yet to see. And I'm pretty excited for it, not going to lie. I mean, I'm happy that we might be getting a playable Infernape here. Now, it does have the ability Fire Dancing. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic fire, a basic fighting, or one of each from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. Now, this is a very similar ability to a Colossal card we had. I forget what set it was from. It was from Rebel Clash, right? Yeah, it was a Colossal from Rebel Clash. Basically, it did the same thing. You put a fire and a fight energy from your hand to your Pokemon. Now, this is an energy acceleration ability, and energy acceleration is obviously very good right now. It also has a decent attack. Scorching Fire does 200 damage, so it actually has an okay attack. 200 damage is actually pretty good numbers to hit, obviously. You know, you can play that with, like, a Defiance Band or a damage boost to do a knockout on most basic Pokemon. Yeah, overall, not a bad card. Now, what decks could play Infernape? Because you are accelerating fire and fighting energy. Now, there are a lot of Pokemon you could play this with, right? You could play this with, like, fire Pokemon like Armarouge, Arcanine, EX, NTV, spitballing ideas here. Or you could play it on the fighting side, which might be the better way to play Infernape, because fighting Pokemon kind of lack energy acceleration. I mean, fire does have some cards. You got Mela, you have Magma Basin, you have Armarouge, you have Charizard EX. So, fire Pokemon, they're fine for energy excel. Fighting Pokemon kind of don't have great energy acceleration. The best we have right now is Koraidon, Gutsy Pickaxe, and Sandy Shocks. That's about it. So this could be a good Pokemon to have within a fighting deck. You could play this with Tinglu EX. You could play this with Koraidon EX. You could actually play this with the brand new Koraidon EX. The new Ancient Koraidon actually, I think, could play this. I'm pretty sure the Ancient Koraidon, the Dragon Pokemon that does 280 damage, does need a fire and a fighting energy. So this actually could be really good with that one prize, with the 2-prize Koraidon EX. That actually could be good. Yeah, okay. So yeah, this card actually could be good with Koraidon EX. That's like the first thing I can think of. This does synergize nicely with Earthen Vessel. Earthen Vessel basically gives you the 2 energy in your hand that you can put into play with Fire Dancing. Again, the only downside with Infernape, it is going to be a stage 2. So at the end of the day, it does rely very heavily on rare candy. But this actually could be the first playable Infernape card we will probably be seeing in a very long time, because you actually can synergize this with Earthen Vessel and with the Dragon Koraidon, which is quite sick. And then, of course, we have a new Pokemon search card, Love Ball. Yes, you heard right, Love Ball. So let's check it out. So search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as one of your opponent's Pokemon in play, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So it's kind of similar to something like Friend Ball, where you search out the same type. This is flat out just the same Pokemon instead of the same type. So it's a very interesting effect. Now, this would be very good in mirror match situations. This card could be very good to have in something like Charizard. Charizard is going to be very popular. And I think probably by the time, you know, we do get this new set in May, Charizard will still be popular, because Charizard is just a very good card. And it also is very good against all these big and basic EX Pokemon that keep coming out. So there is a world where if Charizard is the most popular deck, like let's say you go to LA Regionals, which is, I think, actually, is LA legal? I don't think this is going to be legal in LA, actually. LA Regionals might be the same weekend as the set release. But okay, let's just say you play this card at NEIC. Okay, and NEIC, Charizard is the most played deck, because of course it will be, because it's Charizard, right? So Charizard, most played deck. Let's say it's like 20% of the meta at NEIC, right? There's a chance if you were to play a Charizard deck, so if you're somebody who wants to play Charizard at NEIC and Charizard's the 20% of the most played deck, well, if you play a Love Ball or 2 in your deck, you can use this to actually find yourself more evolutions. It's a free way to basically find like a Pidgeot, a Charizard, even Charmander, Rotom V, basically for free, which is kind of cool, actually. Instead of relying on Ultra Ball or Jock or whatever Pokemon search card you play in your Charizard deck to find your little Charizards, and Pidgeots, this could get them for free. Now, in a world where mirror matches are very much a thing right now, I could see this actually being good. Now, I don't think it'll be great in much other decks. Like, maybe you'll play it in a Lost Zone deck, because there's so many different ways to play the Lost Zone engine right now that theoretically, if you were to play this in a Lost Box deck, the odds you'll hit either Giratina or like a Lost Box deck is pretty high. So because there's two versions of that kind of archetype, maybe it's worth playing this in like a Lost Zone engine deck. We'll have to see. I do think Love Ball is actually kind of decent. It's only going to rely heavily on how popular a deck is. Like, you're not going to play this in like, I don't know, like Serena EX, where that deck doesn't see a lot of play. The odds you play against the Serena deck are very low. You're probably not going to use Love Ball that often. But in a deck that's very popular, like Charizard, where it's a very good chance it's going to be most of the meta. Like, if this card was legal for EUIC, I guarantee you it would see play in like every Charizard list, because Charizard is going to be the most popular deck at EUIC by a landslide. It's probably going to be like 20% of the meta at EUIC. So maybe when NEIC comes out, this actually could see play. So yeah, that's the best way I can think to play. It's probably going to be something with Charizard. Just, you have to play in a deck that's popular enough to play it, because that's really the best value you get out of it. It's not a bad card, though. It does allow you to get any type of Pokemon, not just specific basic, or you're limited by HP. You get any Pokemon. But yeah, there you have it. Those are the new card reveals. I got a lot more to say than I thought I would, to be honest with you. But this Love Ball definitely is a very interesting Pokemon search card. The new Infernape is pretty good. It's a playable Infernape, and I think it's going to synergize nicely with the Dragon Koraidon. And then, of course, the new One Prize Iron Leaves Walking Wake. We'll have to see what happens with those. Iron Leaves, I think, has more potential than Walking Wake, but we'll have to see. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of the new cards down below, and I'll catch you on another video here on the second channel. Make sure to subscribe down below if you're new to the channel and all the good stuff, and I'll catch you all on another video here. Bye-bye.